If they do that, the Cougars will be very, 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 very tough to beat.
Off the window, no. Roberts tries to get it. Shed for the win. Got it.
Just with 14 points, but you just look, the way that he dominated the game was in controlling the pace and making smart decision after decision.
Call him by Slamma Jamma.
Go to pizza spot before or after.
The dream is alive for Houston. Go Cougs! Let's go!
Man, oh man, those that intro, those highlights, the basketball highlights seem really really good about now. But welcome into this episode of Let's Rage Coogs, presented by the Saxenian Family, the official postgame show, the original Houston postgame show after each and every single football and men's basketball game. Joining us on this Saturday afternoon, Da'Yon Dunlap and Bryce Beall is going to join us in a second. Give us a thumbs up whenever he's ready. All right, let's bring in Bryce. Well, there's no way to sugarcoat that. It was ugly. It was abysmal. And pick whatever synonym you want to choose. The Cincinnati Bearcats shut out Houston 34-0 in the Big 12 conference opener for both teams. It was ugly from the get-go. First drive interception by Donovan Smith, and it kind of led into a snowball effect. From there, before you knew it, the Bearcats were up 14-0. Houston put together a drive which was really given a shot in the arm by the magnificent play that Joseph Manjack had. But Kris, like we mentioned off air, when the Cougars came away with 0 points on that drive, they attempted a field goal, a 32-yard field goal at that, and they missed it. It just was really, it was just a sign of what was going to come, and the Houston Cougars were unable to manage any type of offense, and well, they fall to 1-3. Cincinnati improves to 3-1, and here we are. Whoever wants to take it first?
I'll go first because I laugh at all these folks, Chris B and what's his name, Mr. Brown. Donovan was bad. Okay, after interception, I'm curious Bryce's thoughts on the interception because it looked like Donovan thought the receiver was going to square in. The receiver ran a curl. And so that was Mr. Reed there. Go ahead, Bryce.
Yeah, what happened was it was an option route. A choice route. So the outside guy has a choice. The inside guy has a bender route. But the receiver, instead of when he bended, he didn't stay flat. And Donovan was expecting him to be flat. And that's how the corner, the DB, the safety should never be able to jump cut you like that. And it's because he did not stay flat on this route. And that just killed the whole. From that interception, I said, "Yep, it's going to be one of those type of things."
Yeah. So as you said it right there, Bryce has played football. I haven't. The DB should not beat the receiver on the route. Correct? You said that, right?
Yes, he has a bender route on there. It's a 12-yard bender. When you hit the bender route, you're supposed to stay flat. Instead, He was rounding off on him. Because he rounded off, that safety was able to undercut him, and that's how he was able to beat him to the ball. That should never happen. Now, it wasn't the best throw. I'm not going to defend the throw, but it shouldn't have been intercepted. It should have been a receiver ball or no ball. And a receiver, he drifted up, what we call it. He got himself covered, is what we call it. Instead of staying flat and getting yourself uncovered, he got himself covered, which ended up to that, which reason why they had that interception.
Yeah. Now, after the deep pass completion to Manjack, Donovan made 2 more bad throws, and then the kicker missed the field goal, short kick. Then defense gave up an 80-yard drive. It was 21-0, and that was it. That was it right there. After that, the fumble, freshman running back ran hard, but he had 2 fumbles. As a running back, I'm curious on your thoughts on what he did wrong on those fumbles because I think he wasn't covering the ball with both hands. You go ahead.
Yeah, it's ball security. When you're in traffic, just one thing. I teach my backs too when I coach backs is you got to keep 2 hands over the ball. And if anybody near you, always have 2 hands over the ball. Only time you should never have 2 hands balls when you're in open field, and we say go get money. When it's time to go get money, yeah, you can take you just running now. It's time for you to go use your speed and everything, but it's gotta be high and tight, and then when through traffic, it's gotta be 2 hands over the ball. as a freshman, I mean, you make those type of mistakes, and you have games like that. I would never forget a UAB game I had. I had 3 fumbles Halloween night. 3 fumbles. I thought the end of the world was happening, but it taught me a valuable lesson protecting football. So it's the little small details like that as you young, you're not used to grown man punching the ball out of you at times. So you get used to the strength and the speed and everything about that, and then you make those adjustments. He'll be fine. But I think it was a terrible outing for the entire team, especially offensively. I don't know if it's schematically what's going on, but it just seemed like right now the pieces we have doesn't fit what they're trying to do.
What do you think they're trying to do? Let's go with that.
I really don't know what type of identity they have. I thought it would be
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Yeah, it's definitely hard to tell what they're trying to build their identity because they have explosive players and explosive playmakers, but it's no sense. It's hard to see what their vision is to try to get them the ball and let them do what they can do. Like from Stephon Johnson to Snead to the running backs, I seem like it was a contest to get the running backs involved in the passing game, but as well. But I mean, like really, it all starts like Bryce was just saying, it was a total bad effort on both sides of the ball. Primarily offensively, Donovan just didn't have a good day. I mean, you got to call a spade a spade. He was inaccurate on times early in the games where they kind of could have made some plays. He left some plays out there. The interception was the interception. Bryce already broke that down. But other than that, there was throws he missed when they were able to move the ball that he has to make. But other than that, it was just bad. Both sides of the ball. But just to the identity point, what's the identity? Is it the short passing game? Is it a running game? Or at times they ran Donovan a lot when they got those 3-man fronts and it was Fable in the box, in which that was good play calling from my understanding and watching the game, taking what the defense gives you. But what are the, I don't see what they're trying to establish as far as an identity offensively.
And the defense took a step back today. The penalties in the first half, the holding penalties, those were issues. And the offense this year is not good enough without the defense being the better side of the ball. Period. And the defense was not good today. Bryce,
this right here, I disagree with. We have explosive players. They just need to get them in favorable matchups to get them the ball. Like that when they got Manjack one-on-one and he was able to beat, you got to get your explosive players who can make those plays in those favorable matchups and attack them. So I think schematically that's on the offensive coordinator and the staff to get the playmakers the ball in favorable matchups, whether it's Snead and the running backs, the receivers. I don't think that's the problem. I think it's just executing plays that are called. And also Donovan was just bad today. I mean, I got to call it how I see it. Today he did not have a good game. That doesn't define who he is as a quarterback overall throughout his career, but today wasn't his day.
And the running backs don't block well. The offensive line is shaky blocking as well, but the running back, especially going wide, when you see almost every running back had a chance at a block, missed a block. The defensive ran past them, so that is an issue. The penalties, that bothers me more than anything with this year's team, because as a Coach Fritz team, they don't beat themselves. And this team has done that. They've had at least 5 penalties the first 4 games, each game. So that is an issue. Other stuff, I'll say this. I don't know if Bryce or Da'Yon, Andy agree with me. I didn't expect this team to win a lot this year. This is going to be a first year under Coach Fritz, establishing the culture, all those things. This is going to be a long year. I expected that. 2 to 4 wins, period. That's what I expected. So anybody thinking better than that, you were being delusional and you were fooling yourself. This is going to be a long year. And there are a lot of guys on this year's team who won't be on next year's team, because next year's team will have better talent.
And based on what I saw in the first 3 games coming into this game, I was expecting a competitive game. Now, it's a difference between blowouts and losing. What they have, I expect from what I've seen to be a competitive game. That's where my disappointment comes in. Not so much of the loss, so much of competitive, getting better. To me, it's kind of like taking a step back. And so that's from my perspective on that. But I mean, I'm seeing some of these comments. I really don't want to react because some of it is just prisoner of the moment emotions about this game. mean, you can watch a player and critique his career in different moments, even to last year. I mean, when he had great games and helped Houston win games. So I'm not even going to entertain some of these comments. But overall, I don't see what their identity is or what they're trying to do to form an identity. It seems to be to react on what the defense is giving instead of trying to dictate something offensively.
Bryce, I want you to, excuse me, Andy. Andy, I want to get Bryce's thoughts on this. But how much? Where are the Cougs ranked in recruiting and talent-wise for next year?
No, we're in the top 30. We have some talent coming in. We got some really, really, really playmakers coming in. Like you bounced off on this team this year. Surprisingly, we still have a good defense. I think the interception. I always say every week we have to start fast. When you start, you start and you give them the plus field, their defensive plus field, a sudden change, bad things happen. And once they got up 7-0, you can tell the momentum was happening. It doesn't change. And on the road, it's tough to get it back. It's tough to get a team going when their juice is flowing, and you're kind of a rival now with Cincinnati in a way. And once that's the start, we have to be able to start better. And this team is just not good. I mean, there's no way to. I hate to be a downer with it, but it's talent-wise, it's certain spots, but it just doesn't fit what they want to do, and it's just not a good fit. It's not a good team to me, and as good as I think the defense can be, we don't play well enough offensively to put them in better situations to play the type of football you want to play, and this is what you're going to see all year long. But you just hope that they can clean up some of the stuff, like you said, penalties, and some of the other things that can show that, okay, Fritz is putting his imprint on his program. And that's all. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for wins. I'm not looking for to be I'm just looking to see, are we going to improve as a culture? Because culture is everything in every sport you do. And my biggest thing is the culture is starting to fit in. Or the players starting to feel like a lot of these players may be there. A lot of them may not buy in. And they're getting their chance to show who's going to be there, who's not going to be there.
Go ahead, Andy.
What I was going to say is just, it seems like the biggest thing that fans are disappointed in this game is just it seems like a step back from the momentum, the progress that they had been making from week one. Obviously, we were talking about UNLV and how bad that looked. The offense still wasn't great, nowhere near great, wasn't even good, wasn't even decent against Oklahoma, but the defense played so well, kept them in that game, and they had a puncher's chance of potentially pulling out the upset, and then they were able to do what they were supposed to do against Rice a week ago. So you kind of saw that linear movement, and then today, major step back. And Kris, to the point that you just made in terms of what the biggest flaws for Houston was today, since this was a morning game, a noon game, but they were just shooting themselves in the foot way too many times. There were 3 turnovers in the game, and we know the saying,
2 other fumbles that they got back.
Exactly, and we know the saying all year long has been Cougs don't hurt Cougs. Well, they've been hurting themselves a lot, and they definitely hurt themselves in this game. And even though this wasn't a turnover, you can technically count it as the impact of a turnover. Is certainly momentum-wise, it has the same effect. But a 32-yard field goal, you have to convert a 32-yard field goal, and that would have potentially calmed some nerves. Already down 14-0 to get some points up on the board. And that right there has got to be the biggest gut punch if we're talking about what this game was. But I agree with all of y'all. It's another sobering reminder of where the program is. And there was a comment that you guys referenced in terms of no talent coming in. I mean, there's definitely talent that's coming in. We're just, you got to be patient. That's going to be the key when it comes to this game, but this season. But
well, let me say this. We can talk about the play calling, offensive play calling. It's a question mark. I think that's part of what is the identity of the offense. That goes with the OC, and his play calling is questionable. That was it, 2nd or 3rd down and 13, and he threw like a screen to Manjack.
Yep.
What the hell is that? What is Joseph Manjack going to do? And he lost yards on the play. See, that's the OC. And you're talking about benching Donovan Smith, putting in Kris. Well, if the OC's calling these questionable plays, what good is What difference is that going to make? If the OC's calling stuff that we're like, what the hell? It won't make a difference. Who's the quarterback?
Or the 3rd and 15, and they ran a run play.
You hit it right on the point. When you're the best offense is led by an offensive coordinator who players really believe in, and you can tell how they move, how the aura about them, the excitement about them, it gets them going. It seemed like our offense run on the field and they hope something good happens instead of expecting something good happens, and that's the difference.
Yeah.
They have no confidence. Like it's like, man, if this do work, it's good, but I don't know. Like when you have that type of when your players are second guessing, that's why people say Donovan is. I'm not taking up for Donovan. I don't think Donovan's in the best situation he can possibly be in right now, and he has plenty of time to connect. Last year, he had 2 great receivers that are elsewhere. He had a good system. No matter what we say about Coach Hoganson, he's an offensive genius. He's always happened. That's been his calling card in college game. That's how he ascended to head coach. Coach Hoganson has led some of the top-rated offenses in the country. So he has an offensive mind. And I just don't think this is the right fit right now for Donovan and for the rest of the offense. And it just it goes in. When you're on the road, we always was taught you got to create your own energy. And to miss a field goal, that brings, if you're looking around trying to find some reason to get excited about the game. And when that happened, you can see it. You can feel it through the TV that it just took a lot of the energy away that we was building up to that point. And that was it. I knew once he missed that field goal, that was it.
And to piggyback off what Bryce just said, like the offense, it just seems so reactionary. It's nothing to make the defense to dictate. There's nothing dictating the defense that we're going to come out and we're going to do this. I don't know if that's just the players to be able to do what they want to do scheme wise, but everything I see is okay. The defense is giving us this. That's reacting. Which part of sometimes come in with know what you have. 4 games in now. Okay, let's come in and how tough under and
did we lose Da'Yon?
Yeah. Kick him out and bring him back in. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
We'll see if
my Wi-Fi
Da'Yon can get back in.
Freaking out today too.
Well,
weird.
Yeah, you know what? There's just something about today. It's not just the Cougars. But let's take a quick pause to shout out our sponsors for today's episode of Let's Rage Coogs, beginning with Steve Saxenian, who's the primary sponsor of today and every episode of Let's Rage Coogs, like I said, the unofficial and original Houston postgame show after each and every single football and men's basketball game. Big thank you to Steve Saxenian for being the primary sponsor of today's show. And of course, we also like to say thank you to our other sponsors, beginning with Coogston. The Coogston tailgate is located in the Blue Lot in 16D on game days, and they invite everybody to come and join them for food, drinks, and music. Again, and the Blue Lot 16D, be sure to follow them on social media on X at Coogston for tailgate details. And again, each and every single game day, they invite everybody for a good time. And of course, we also like to say thank you to Star Pizza, who is open for lunch 7 days a week, free delivery, a Houston original since 1976. And they deliver all 7 days into downtown and the Houston Medical Center. So big thank you to both Star Pizza and the Coogston Tailgate for being sponsors on today's episode of Let's Rage Coogs. That being said, Big 12 opener doesn't get any easier. Next week, they're welcoming in a top 25 team in Iowa State. Big step back. And to Bryce's point about it just doesn't seem like the players fit what the coaching staff is trying to run. And from an outside perspective, we can't figure out what they're trying to run because it just doesn't look pretty. It looks ugly. It looks ugly, for the lack of a better word. Just not sugarcoating it. It looks ugly. And you look at the Tulane teams that Willie Fritz led the last couple of years, especially when we're talking about offense, there were a team that really were predicated on having a stout run game. And the Houston Cougars just have not been able to do that over the course of the first now 3 games into the season, 4 games now into the season. And it just looks, and it's to be expected. It's a team that's in transition. Willie Fritz came in here late in the process. He wasn't able to turn over the roster. There were a lot of new faces, but it's hard to completely bring in your style of players that late when he joined Houston. So it's going to look like that throughout. It's
going to be a long year. I mean, that's just reality. But I want to say this. I want to get this mentality for our fans and the supporters. I'm going to the Iowa State game and wondering if I'm wasting my time. You're supporting the Cougs. You're supporting your alma mater, your university. There are too many of us, and notice what I say, us, I'm an alum. I'm a proud University of Houston graduate. We need to support each other. We need to stick with each other through thick and thin. Win or lose, we need to be at these football games. We look at all around. I know this is a pro town. I know that, and that is an issue. That's a factor. But there are enough of us as alums that need to support and should support all of our athletic programs and hold them accountable as well. We get into the marketing, the concessions, tickets, all those other things as well. But guys and ladies, through thick and thin, support our Cougs, support each other.
To your point, Chris, I was watching Nebraska last night, and I think they mentioned that they hadn't had a winning season in over, 10 year, long time, but they still had like 15, 20-plus sellouts consecutively, win, lose, or draw. Like Chris is saying, come out to support your alma mater or your hometown school, whatever makes you a fan of the school. Win, lose, or draw, you got to be supportive.
And we talk about getting good players. These are the times where they hosting recruits on home games.
Yes.
If I'm a recruit, I don't want to come in and see an empty stadium like this. Yes, my mindset is we can be when I first got to U of H, it was empty stadiums our freshman year. By the time my senior year here, we was top 6 of it, we had the Robinson packed every game. So it takes you guys and us as fans to make sure we attend those games, because at the end of the day, we're building on trying to build this thing as a group. It takes everybody. It doesn't just take the coaching staff. We can sit there and say, oh, the coach is not doing this. But it takes a university alumni. Everything, we all have a part in helping this. And our part is packing those stands and getting as many people as we can to those stands. So when recruits come, they can see, okay, it's something there. It's a passionate university, but we just gotta be the reason why fans want to come out. So we need to come out and support. I can't preach that enough.
And we've had, and I'm older than Bryce and Da'Yon and Andy and possibly most of our viewers. The passion you guys are bringing to the comments and to our shows is appreciated. It shows you care. That's great. Don't become indifferent. This is still the Houston Cougars. We love this school. We love this football team. This is going to be a long year. We just need to see improvement game to game. Today was a setback. No argument with that. Next week might get bad. It's the Big 12. There's not a lot of 5-star talent in the Big 12 because, a lot of that left with the Longhorns and the Sooners. But there's not a lot of elite talent on this year's Cougar football team. One of the comments Coach Fritz made in his Monday presser, he said in previous stops, we used to have more talent. We could just roll a ball out there and we'd win. This your team. We can't do that. We have to play well. We have to do all little things to give ourselves a chance to win. They did not do that today, not even close.
I also don't understand the comments already giving up on Willie Fritz. It's barely 4 games into his tenure. How are you ready to throw in the towel?
4
games in? haven't even had a full recruiting class with Willie Fritz, and some people are ready to move on.
Yeah, you know,
Hasn't been a complete year.
fans are fans, and some know. Some folks get mad at people who say this, but fan is short for fanatic. So some of y'all are just emotional, and as Da'Yon has said, you know, just in the moment of it. This was a tough to watch. I get that. I understand that. But this, I think, I'm okay with this. About the OC needs to be a change in play calling. I'm okay with that. I don't have, I'm good with that. But supporting the Cougs, supporting the football, this is another example. I think Andy and Da'Yon said this last year. Bryce wasn't with us last year. I'm glad he's with us now. This is an issue when we did not bring in Coach Fritz or whoever to coach the first year in the Big 12. As the announcer said a few times during the broadcast today, this is year 2 for the program in the Big 12, but this is Coach Fritz's first year in the Big 12. So this is a whole new thing for him on the Power 4 level. And for last year, they even matter. Okay, he's starting over. This is his first year in the Big 12. So this is year 1 for Coach Fritz in the Big 12. So base your expectations on this year and going forward. The Cougs were not great in the American. So why the hell do you think they're going to be great in the Big 12 when Coach Fritz in his first year?
Yeah, I think, truthfully, I think a lot of times is fans have a certain guy they wanted. And because they didn't get the guy they wanted, they're gonna nitpick the guy that was chosen. And I'm guilty of that. I was a big DJ Kenny fan. I made no secret on Twitter everywhere. I wanted DJ Kenny, the head coach at Texas State, simply because I saw what he done in the quick time at UIW and what he's doing now at Texas State. I felt like he was good. His wide open offense for the city. That's what I was used to. But then when they hired Coach Fritz, and I got to get to know the guy, and I saw, and you can hear it in his voice, and you can hear just being around him how excited he really is about building young men and building this program. Like most people you see, we used to have Houston as a stepping stone job. He doesn't see it that way. This is it for him, and he really wants to be a contender in the Big 12. And I just think it's going to take some time. I'm a fan too, so I was with you guys. He wasn't the guy for me at first either, but you got that he is who they chose, and I believe if we really just back instead of finding ways to be against him, be with him. Let's see how we go from
there. Ronald, that comment right there, Ronald, shows who you are. I'm not even gonna bring that up. That right there shows who you are. I laugh at that one. If y'all watching the comments, y'all know what he posted. I mean, come on now. Come on. You gonna say he's better than Coach Fritz? Give me a break. Please. Come on, man. Come on. Give me a break. Man, Willie Fritz has won everywhere he's been. His first year in the Big 12 got to clean up a lot of mess that was left for him. And one thing I think everybody agrees on, the offensive line is not playing well. Consistently, they're not playing well. It's hard to win up front when your O-line is shaky. Left side, right side. Oh, this is going to be a long year, folks. But we'll be here after every game on Let's Rage Coogs to allow you to vent your frustration and show your support for the Cougs. And we'll get you ready for basketball season when all this gloom and doom will be forgotten.
Ronald, he's just trolling. I could break down, but I don't even want to give that any. Yeah, he's just trolling. Got to be just trolling. Yeah, I just think Coach Fritz needs time. I mean, like Bryce said, he needs time to continue to establish, get the players in, build the system. I will agree that the offensive coordinator It deserves criticism. It deserves criticism, no question. No one is above criticism, though, in my opinion, regardless first year, second year. I don't care. I think but you just got to take it all into account and not be prisoners of the moment as well.
Mm-hmm. And just going back to what we mentioned, just in terms of the fit thing. I mean, we saw another quarterback today. Da'Yon Kris had a couple of drives, and I don't. It tells you a lot when it comes to the play calls that they have for him. They don't really seem comfortable with him throwing the ball, and if they're not comfortable with him throwing the ball, he's not. You can't play him over Donovan Smith, in my opinion. Would say y'all, because every time he goes out there, it seems like they use him much more as a runner, and they try to limit the times that he throws the ball.
Kris, Da'Yon looks more comfortable as a runner than a passer right now. So, that I think that goes into play calling as well. I think we'll see more of him in the next few games, but I don't know if that means he's going to start next Saturday against Iowa State. He might start later on this season. I don't think it'll be game 5.
I think Bryce mentioned it on our previous episodes. When they came, I think it's signifying to the team that they're out of contention in regards to try to compete for the Big 12. I think that's what that shows to the team, and because I think, like Kris just alluded to it, probably later on in the season, I think they may go ahead and see what they have in the future and go forward and let him prepare to be a starter and going forward.
But again, if the OC play calling is shaky, questionable, is it going to matter if it's Donovan, Da'Yon, Uyale, whoever's back there? If we're wondering, what the hell is he calling? Those things, that is an issue as well that needs to be addressed.
Kris, what say you about? You know what? What do you think about this?
Oh, you mean the one? I'm the meeting guy that is a member of the that paid my money to be an alum in the club and in Cougar Pride. Now you talk about Bridget Hopkins? Don't come there with me with that. No. Oh no. Oh no. I don't have to. As you said, I get a media pass, and I still spend my money because I love my school. Why aren't they playing ILA? We might see him soon too. Who knows? This season, when they decide this season is gone, you might see everybody play. And then, but again, if the play calling is questionable, will it matter who's QB?
I think
I like this.
You can make a better argument for him just in terms of what he put together against UNLV, but
I like this. I want to see. I love to see the OC take questions on Monday with Coach Fritz, or Tuesday, whatever. That's what I like to see. I like to see that.
I think that's an interesting point. I'm not sure. They've made coaches available.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they could do it per request. But it would be intriguing to get his perspective, just what they're trying to establish and what they've seen over the course of the 4 games. Because again, 4 games into the season, a third of the way into it now, and that offense has just it. Not only, I think, even saying that it struggled is an understatement. They've just looked flat out bad. They have looked like arguably they're the worst offenses I've seen in a while, and it'd be intriguing to hear from the offensive coordinator's perspective what they're trying to establish.
And if he's not brought to the media, then our colleagues need to ask Coach Fritz about the offense, his thoughts on the execution and the struggles today against Cincinnati, and his what he thought the reasons for it. Somebody got to ask it.
That's a great point. I'm with you with that. I think the offensive coordinator and the defense coordinator should have the answer for the game plans. It has to be known what was the game plan, what happened, what did you see, did they execute the game plan, did they not execute the game plan, what went wrong on the first period interception. What was the play call? What was the design? What were you trying to get the ball to? What happened? Why didn't the ball get there? Those are questions that we want to be able to that the fans want they want answers to, and to be able to sit in front of them like, hey, well, we called X choice, and my number 2 has a bender, but he didn't stay flat. The fans want to hear that. Yeah, I can get on and say that because I understand offense, I see it, but we want to know if that's the same thing you saw. And sometimes that's accountability will make you get more creative, make you get in the lab a little more. So that type of pressure can improve. As I say, it can improve the entire program. It ain't just the coaches, it's the community as well. So I just can't keep harping on, like, today really was hard to watch. Like
it was.
As a former player, as an alumni, it was hard to watch. But I like you said, my expectations are not high for this. I said that the first episode. I felt like this year is going to be a year of finding Frisk guys. That should be should be on the top of the stadium. Finding Frisk guys. We got to figure out who his guys are for this program, and let's get those guys in here so we can get this thing turned around quickly.
And I love what you said. You repeated it, because I would like the comments from Coach Fritz on the interception. If the receiver ran the wrong route or didn't do his part on that route, something. I mean, it was not a perfect throw. And let's be clear. Even the throws that were completed by Donovan, a lot of them weren't in the numbers. They were not in stride. His receivers had to do a little extra to catch the ball. So he was off all game. So let's be clear on that. But back to it. In addition to the questionable play calling. So there were concerns all over the place. But offensively, I had doubts about this team from the beginning. But today, the defense took a step back. That is an issue we need to address as well. The holding penalties on defense, 2 on the same drive. Those things can't happen. The roughing the passer, I mean, it's a blow to the face kind of thing. That's 3 penalties that you just cannot have. When you don't have more talent than your opponent, you cannot make mistakes like that. And this team needs to give itself the best chance to win as possible, and limiting mistakes helps them do that. Today was a big step back, and that's the biggest disappointment for me today.
No, you're absolutely correct. And I was looking at the comments. I said, "What is a Frisk guy?" Go look at Tulane type teams. They play. They never had big time recruits, but they was like, "Hey, let's go to work. Let's not beat ourselves. Let's play hard. Let's play physical." And that's just something not seen. They had an identity about themselves. You knew exactly when you played Tulane that if you don't come play for 60 minutes, you're gonna be in for a long night. And I don't feel like we have that now, and it shows. So we have to be able to get guys in there who want to be able to do what he's trying to ask them to do out in, and maybe he has a new OC that he's never had in the past. This guy from Mississippi State, so it may not be the mix that he wants. It could be something where he make an offensive coordinator change. We don't know, but what we do know is he's gonna figure it out. He has what we call data. The data shows us that if you give this guy time, he's gonna make it work.
And I'm going to do this because I'm going to make Ronald kind of eat his words if he's, hold himself to accountability. You know why you can say this has something to do with Coach Sampson? Because many times in Coach Fritz press conferences, Andy, you've heard it. Bryce, I'm sure you've heard it. Coach Fritz himself has said what, Andy? He wants to get guys who play just as hard as Kelvin Sampson's basketball team. Right?
Yep.
You heard that. Every fan has heard that. So that's why this has to do with Coach Sampson and Coach Fritz. He does not have. Folks, Andy, you said it. Coach Fritz has said it. There are not a lot of elite talented players on this year's team. And
They
the Big
didn't even have
12
any
is
coming
not
in.
the Big 10 or the SEC. So for the Cougs in Coach Fritz's first year to come into the mess he had to clean up, this is going to take a while to clean up. And that's just reality. But still, support the Cougs. Support our team. Support our alma mater. That's what Let's Rage Coogs is for. That's what Andy, one of the reasons he wanted to create this show was to give fans a chance, give Coug fans a chance to vent after games because it wasn't offered in Houston. There's not a lot of a post-game. It wasn't a post-game show for Coug football fans and Coug basketball fans. That's when Andy and I discussed
There used
the
to be
idea.
none.
Used to be none. Now there's a lot of them. But that's what we're here for that. We're here for you guys. It's going to be a long year. Next year won't be like this. Andy, can I do it? Because I feel very confident in doing it. Do you have it in here?
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
it
Yes.
should
There
be.
it is. There it is. I guarantee it.
Guarantee.
One more time.
Guarantee.
This team next year won't be like this. This year is gonna be rough, but we'll get through it together. Okay, that's what this. We'll get through it together. Don't give up on this team. Don't give up on, because there are already enough haters out there against us. Oh, y'all don't belong in the Big 12. Y'all don't do this. Y'all shouldn't. Y'all got our spot. All this other kind of stuff. Folks, we have to stick together. We're going to get through this. I believe in a few years from now, we're going to look like this first year. Man, you remember that first year in Coach Fritz? It was bad. But look at us now. We're just rolling. We're just kicking butt. We're sitting on top of the Big 12. Just be patient, folks. Come on.
And in a ever-evolving landscape, we got to bring this up because it is true.
Yes.
NIL is a big component nowadays in college football.
And I want to salute the alums, the supporters who are investing their money in the program. We need more of y'all to invest in the program. We can't have people on the outside. Well, I mean, y'all don't. Why should I support UH if y'all don't support UH? We can't have that. We have to support our school first and foremost, and then look outside for that additional help. We got to get this done. Period. Oh, I'm pretty sure. Bryce,
Note,
I don't know how you feel about this. I don't think Donovan's going to be the starter next year. That's my thought on that.
Oh no. No, I think they're gonna make a change. They're gonna bring in their own guy, a guy that can control the offense a little better. I'm not saying Donovan can't. I just we see what we see on Saturday. We don't see what goes on in the preparation and how they comfortable they feel with him. Maybe they run this type of offense because they don't feel comfortable with him, or either quarterback that's on campus right now. So that could be something that we don't know either. So, but I don't think Donovan's the type of guy they want in there. I think he may either test his last year out, or he may go in the league. He had before this season, he was projected to be a high draft pick. Like, not when I say high, like in the top 3 or 4 rounds. Mm-hmm. Some boys had him as high as that. So obviously the scouts, so they see talent there, but maybe just like I said, just not a fit. I don't expect to see him back. He hasn't played well this year for us, but man, we just hope we can just pray for better days.
And Bryce,
real quickly, Kris, we have some footage. We have footage from Willie Fritz. We can go ahead and hear what he had to say following the loss to Cincinnati. But before we do, real quickly, I want to thank once again Steve Saxenian for being a primary sponsor of today's episode of Let's Rage Coogs, the original Houston postgame show after each and every single football and men's basketball game. Of course, we also like to say thank you to our other sponsors for today's episode, beginning with Star Pizza, which is open for lunch 7 days a week. They offer free delivery, a Houston original since 1976. They deliver all 7 days of the week to the downtown and Houston Medical Center. And of course, if you are interested in their all-you-can-eat pizza buffet, be sure to stop by during lunchtime on Tuesdays and Fridays, and be sure to check them out online at starpizza.net. And of course, we also like to say thank you to the Houston Tailgate for being a sponsor on Let's Rage Coogs. The Houston Tailgate is located in Blue Lot 16D on game days. All are welcome to enjoy the food, drinks, and music with the Houston family. Follow them on Twitter at Houston for tailgate details. Once again, a big thank you to all of our sponsors for really helping support Let's Rage Coogs. And thank you to every single person that's taking the time out of their Saturday afternoon to comment, whether we agree or disagree. Again, this space, this forum is for you guys to be able to say your perspectives when it relates to the Cougars. And on that note, let's check out what head coach Willie Fritz had to say following the 34-0 loss to Cincinnati.
You want to open up with one, or do you want to jump in?
Well, I'm disappointed. You know, we'd made some progress week 1, week 2, week 3. We sure as heck didn't make any progress today. Not a lot to be happy about. Obviously, I didn't do a great job getting the team prepared. The coaches didn't do a great job getting them prepared. We didn't play very smart. You know, and they give Cincinnati a lot of credit. I hate it when people sit here and they just blame their effort. They played well. They're physical, really good running backers. Took a lot of tackles. Did a good job. They had some one-on-ones out on the perimeter, and they beat our corners a few times. We didn't have the middle closed, and we were supposed to have the middle closed for safety a couple times. And then offensively, just they would kind of get moving a little bit, and then we'd have some plays that were self-destructive and put us in horrible down and distances, and then we had to punt the ball. So then we didn't play real good in the kicking game either. We hit a guy when his ball popped up, and had a face mask penalty on a kickoff return. We weren't real good in all three phases, and that's bad. That comes back to me, the coaches, and the players.
Really taking into consideration on offense, are you a little surprised that through 4 games, things haven't developed maybe as quickly as you thought? Or maybe
you see some flashes, that we can do some things halfway right, and then we go back and and I've told the guys this 5 or 6 times. We're not good enough to just roll the ball out there and win. We're gonna have to do things right. And I've only had a few teams where we just rolled it out and we were gonna win no matter what, even if we played bad. Now that's not the case. Every team we play is a good team, and we're gonna have to play smart. We're gonna have to play hard. We're gonna have to get the guys prepared. I thought we were prepared. I was incorrect, and we just got to keep getting better. We're gonna learn from this, throw it away, and get ready for next weekend.
You put Da'Yon in there in the third quarter. Was it looking for a spark, or is that something that now you go into this week really having to sit down and evaluate things?
Well, no way, shape, or form. Donovan's 111 with the offensive cog. He did some good things, and we just wanted to give Da'Yon a chance, see what he could do. He showed some good things at times, but he kind of played like everybody. There's some good stuff, and there's some things that weren't quite so good. So, we just, we need to go back to the drawing board and see this competition that we're going to have, and play the right guys and have those guys do things that they're capable of, and not have them do things that they're not capable of. Can't call plays offense, defense, kicking game just because we like to play.
You've been around a long time. How do you get the team back on the right page?
You just got to keep going. We're going to come back on Monday with the players, and you just got to move on. You wouldn't see any difference to me this Monday as you did last Monday after a win. So we just got to regroup and just figure things out and get better and make correct decisions.
The things that you emphasize, Willie, in practice, the penalties and the timing of them,
it's not working.
Turnovers.
I just told them that. There's a lot of things you can say about me, but not being consistent and how we go about doing things in practice. We gotta get guys to either do it the right way, which gives us the ability to win, or play other guys. And the coaches got to do a better job of reinforcing stuff too. I got to do a better job of reinforcing with the coaches.
You had some success when you threw it downfield.
We did at times. We did, at times. But we just, we got to put drives together. It's hard to get 2-play drives. It's probably going to be, 9, 10, 11, 12. And we're goofed up in there someplace. We might have 4 good plays in a row and shoot ourselves in the foot. And, we're just not to the point where we can overcome that.
Once again, that was Houston Cougars head coach Willie Fritz following the 34-0 loss to the Cincinnati Bearcats. Touched on a lot of different things. Bryce, he kind of mentioned what you said, not exactly word for word, but he mentioned along the same lines about right now they're trying to find players that they really have trust in, that play the way they want them to play. And he was asked point blank to give credit to Joseph Duarte of the Houston Chronicle for pushing him a little bit when it came to Da'Yon, Kris, and Donovan Smith. Anything that stood out to you from what Willie Fritz had to say following their press conference? Took a lot of the blame on himself again, similar to the UNLV game.
Is he muted because of you or himself? There we go. Okay. Well, there we go.
Okay, my bad. You see to my personal opinion, you see a coach that I think he's starting to hear the outside noise a little bit about Donovan. And I say that because I feel like he's trying to defend Donovan, which every good coach will. But some of the things he bringing up had me wondering, like, is he hearing around the city some of the same things that we see and hear in our comments and different things like that? He doesn't seem defeated, but you can tell it's challenging for him. And I think coming from the situation he came from to now, he understood it was going to be a rebuild. But I think he didn't quite understand the challenge of the Big 12 right off the back, what it's going to be for him in this season. The transfer portal has made this thing really, really tough. When he built Tulane, when he first started there, it wasn't a transfer portal. So the unknown of what's going to happen, I think sometimes is getting to him a little bit. It's a difficult time, man. It is a difficult time for him. It's difficult for Cougar Nation, but I think this is the guy. And like I said, meeting the guy, I'm behind him, and we just need to pray for him, make sure he keep his spirits up.
And let me say this, because Coach said it during that clip. This team is not talented enough to play bad and still win. This team has to do all little things right to give themselves a chance to win. Not necessarily win, but to give themselves a chance to win. But to all the Coug fans watching us, and I think Coach Fritz and the staff are learning it as well. We are in this together. If you're not with us in the locker room, this is from a player perspective, coach perspective. If you're not with us, if you don't believe in what we're trying to do here and want to help us win, leave. If you are a fan that just pops in, pops out, and you're not a Coug fan, you just gonna be a troll. You can be a troll because we like those views and clicks. Thank you very much. But support the Cougs. This is going to be a long year, people. We're giving it to you straight. We're giving it to you. We're giving you reality. We're not blowing smoke up anybody's behind. This is going to be a long year. But next year will be better. The talent level. I think some folks, maybe even on the staff overestimated how many Big 12 players are on this year's team. It's not a lot. I don't think it was a lot to begin with, and we're seeing that. It's not a lot. And Cincinnati is solid. They're not even one of the best teams in the Big 12. Wait till some other opponents who are better than the Bearcats face the Cougs. But again, we're going to get through this together. And Donovan Smith may not be the QB starting week 6. That's fine. But we're still going to do these shows. We're still going to support these Cougs. And the talent level is better coming in for next year than this year. I know that.
Bryce, question for you, just in terms of as a player, when you guys have a game like this that Houston just suffered against Cincinnati, what's kind of the week like heading into your next matchup, and how do you put this behind? You heard Willie Ford say that you honestly, the phrase he said, you got to throw this away and bounce back.
You have to throw it away. I know. We're going back to my freshman year. My freshman year was Coach Sumlin's first year at U of H. We started the year 1-4 that year, and we reeled off 6 games in a row after that. Now, granted, it was in not the Big 12, but we found our identity. That year led to the following year us getting in the top 25, and the year after that, 2 years later, getting in the top 10, because we understand it was a process. He was bringing in his own guys. I was part of his first recruiting class at U of H, and we knew that for us to be one of the winningest group to come through U of H, we had to follow what he was trying to do. And I think that's what, as a fan, we have to look. We got to hope for. We just got to hope that, okay, he doesn't have all his guys. We keep saying this. He doesn't have his guys. He doesn't have guys. But that is real, because if you don't have guys who really believe in you, when you sat in their living rooms, you came to their recruiting visits and you sat down, they told you what this was going to be. If you don't have those type of guys in your locker room, none of this matters what you get on the field. And I think it's just going to take one class to really come in and get it going, get it figured out. Because like you said, the turnover they had, teams don't anything they had, and then with the culture they had built before that, I love Coach Hogan to death, but it seemed like it was dysfunctional. Like it was players not holding each other accountable, coaches not holding coaches accountable, coaches blaming players, a bunch of blame game going around. Where now it's all gonna be all about work, getting free guys in and work. And we're gonna look here. Okay. I think they were saying, now I predict we're going to be Big 12 champs, going to be you're going to see a winning football team because of the situation that Fritz had to come
to. And let me say this real quick. Mm-hmm. It looked like, and it's disappointing if this is the case, some of the players took the Bearcats for granted. You know, I saw the comment about Oklahoma. It's easy to get up for Oklahoma. It's Oklahoma. Some of these guys, we play well against Rice. Cincinnati, not Rice. You have to respect every opponent. This year's team is not good enough to overlook anybody and look like in that first quarter, they kind of just half-step. You can't do that. They have to respect every opponent, again, to give themselves a chance to be competitive and give themselves a chance to win. This was a step back. We'll see what they do next Saturday. I'm looking for improvement. That's what I'm looking for this team, is improvement throughout this season. But today was a step back.
Yes. Well, and just looking through the comments, I got one question. I want to answer. One person asked, what made Case so good? He didn't have a great line. We had a pretty good line, but what made Case so good was he was a leader of men. Best leader I ever been around. He would not ask something out of you that he wouldn't do himself. And being the quarterback, that's the most important position on the field. And we win as Case win it, but he had us believing. When we stepped on the field, Case would say something like, "Let's go score again." Like we were the best offense. We call ourselves we were the best offense in the country, and we believed that. So that's what made him so good, was just his leadership, his poise. We didn't have the best offensive line, but we had a really good offensive line. And when you have 5 guys on the offensive line that believe in the quarterback, then everything else just falls in place. So I just want to say that. I want to make sure I'm not leaving out anybody. I love the questions you guys ask and want to get the insight of it, so I want to be able to answer some of those for you.
That being said, it looks like this is going to be a good stopping point for today's episode of Let's Rage Coogs, presented by the Saxenian Family. Again, we got to say thank you, like Bryce just said, to every person that took the time out of the day to comment in the comment section, whether it was on YouTube or on X, formerly known as Twitter. We appreciate your guys' insight, even if we don't necessarily always meet eye to eye. A big thank you to Star Pizza and Coogston as well for being sponsors on this show also, and to Kris, Bryce, and Da'Yon as well for taking the time to talk about the Cougars following a tough Saturday afternoon game against Cincinnati. The good news is it's only one game, and they'll be back next week for a tough challenge inside of TDECU Stadium, soon to be Space City Financial Stadium, by the way. Just mention that there. And it's going to be a top 25 opponent, at least as of now. It'll be against a top 25 opponent in Iowa State, depending on obviously what their result is this weekend. But that's going to be a big game for Houston, and hopefully there's a lot of energy. And then, again, like we've touched on over the course of this entire episode, just go out there, support the Cougars. Like Kris B put it best. Next week, 0-0, a new week. Start from scratch and try to go 1-0. That's got to be the mentality heading, this season, in each game, each week, day in and day out. That being said, my name is Andy Yanez. So again, appreciate each and every single one of you guys for taking the time. If you want to follow me on social media, it's ayanez_5. And we'll be back next week, same time. Well, depending on whenever the game kicks off and ends, but we'll be back for another episode of Let's Rage Coogs after each and every single men's basketball and football show. That being said, Kris, I'll toss it over to you. We had some technical difficulties all around when it came to Wi-Fi as well. I had Wi-Fi issues.
I did too, man.
So it's just one of those Saturdays.
So thank you to everybody for putting up with us and the Wi-Fi issues and everything. Thank you for taking time out of your day to comment and share your questions and opinions with us on Let's Rage Coogs. This is the original post-game show for Houston Cougars football and men's basketball. We're going to be here throughout football season, men's hoops as well. And again, let me just repeat this. We are alums. All 4 of us, me, Andy, Bryce, Da'Yon. We love the University of Houston. We want to see success in football, in athletics. But from a serious perspective, from a financial perspective, all of us have to do our part for our university, where we got our degree. So don't forget that. Don't let the outsiders split us up and tear us down and all the kind of stuff. We do that enough, unfortunately, for ourselves. Support the Cougs. Be there next Saturday for the game. Be there. Don't give up on this team. Don't give up on this program. Yeah, I know we got issues and things we need to fix, all that kind of stuff. But come on, folks. We are Cougars. We win together. Thank you, as always. Follow me on Houston Roundbar Review on Instagram, TikTok, Thread, Spoutable. And Andy, as always, man, great job with the production. And we'll see you all. And keep this in mind. Since 1994, the Houston Roundball Review. Local name, global perspective. And since Da'Yon's not here, I'll say it for him. Go Cougs.